like it's been forever since we've been back on the blue turf, but Friday night at 7:30, it is the big one. Tuplo Oxford. Coach, it doesn't get any bigger than that as far as rivalries go right now. You're 5-0 coming off a great win at Grenada to open division play, 20-7. What is the mindset of your team now? You're halfway through the season.
I mean, it's moments here, really doesn't get any bigger. Playing a team that's had our number the past few years, a team that has gotten after us, and we get to get an opportunity to flip the script.
Right.
We feel really good about our football team. This is if not the biggest, one of the biggest games in the state. Obviously, it's going to be in North Mississippi, the game of the week. This TV station, this newspaper, game of the week, as it should be.
Right.
Two really good football teams, two teams that have some history. I ain't gonna say history, but in recent years, it's been a rival. And we first time we've played them here in a few years. That obviously feels good. We obviously play a little bit different when we're at home. Been on the road for 3 weeks. I'm glad we got that 3-week road test like that. I enjoyed it, but we needed it.
Right.
We needed to get away, and I hope it makes us appreciate being at home.
What was the biggest thing you learned on these 3 road games? Obviously, we got all wins. Kind of each game was a little bit different too.
Correct. There's the stories for each game, and we discussed it last week. Even our 2 home games, how we played. Obviously, at Corinth, played bad offensively first half. Come out second half, played great. Very, very flat that game. Columbus, go over there, hot as a firecracker. Offensively, first half, kind of lulled to sleep defensively. Second half looked bad offensively. Wasn't a total game. And last week against Grenada, we didn't play a total game, but it was a really good opponent. It's a very tough place to play. If you look historically, Grenada plays very well at home.
They do.
No matter who they play. I was talking about it with their coach there. I mean, they against Oxford and Starkville the previous year to end the season, those were 1-point games,
right.
1.1 score games.
And they were undefeated coming into that game last night.
Right.
Last Friday.
That's correct. And they're a much improved football team. We feel like we left some points off the board, but getting that test of some adversity not going your way is like, hey man, we should be 28-0 right now. We should be 21-0 at halftime right now, but we weren't, and it got tight right there in the third, fourth quarter. Defense stepped up and offense took advantage of an opportunity, so it feels good to leave with a road win. Did we play the best? No, we didn't. But that was a very talented group of team that we were playing in Grenada, and now we get to come home and we get to play one of the best in our division. And if you say a team that's one of the best in our division, they're one of the best in the state. And when I show our team, we have a PowerPoint where I show them every week, and I told them this might be one of our toughest opponents in the division. So we'll see, and just really excited about this opportunity.
It is also our community tailgate, which means it's going to be packed. So we encourage you to get there early, and remember, it is a clear bag policy is in effect. So, come prepared to be checked if you don't have your clear bag. So allow for that extra time to get into the stadium. And it's going to be a great atmosphere. Oxford's going to bring a lot. We obviously are going to have a lot. People are going to be excited about the tailgate, and we're also honoring the 92 team at halftime. So, and then the game itself. So it's going to be a busy Friday night. It's
a good weekend period. State and Ole Miss are both at home.
That's right.
No excuses,
right.
To be out of town. It's they're right down the road. We know they're going to bring their fan base. They're going to pack the visitor side. Last year was my first kind of real community tailgate experience.
Right.
It was awesome, packed stadium. I'm expecting it being way, even bigger this year, bigger game, more realness.
Right.
And so I would hope there's a record crowd here Friday night. Our kids deserve it.
Yeah.
They really do deserve it. Oxford deserves it. And it's fun to get to play on a stage this high and get to, hopefully the atmosphere has got our guys rocking.
Exactly. Looking back, before we talk a little bit more about Oxford, let's go back to the Grenada game. First off, I absolutely love their field. It was immaculate. It was as good of a high school turf, real grass that I've seen in a long time.
I was very impressed with how manicured it was, how pretty it was.
It was like a college
It
field.
was. I was very impressed. They did a great job. How good their grass was. It was really nice.
All right, you talked about we got up and then they scored and then we scored, kind of put it away. But you had some big plays in there offensively and defensively. Zach Pratt with 2 of the interceptions late in the one to set up really the nail on the coffin touchdown. Just talk about some of those big plays and how important they were to come when you were facing a little adversity.
Yeah, starting off from the beginning, big long touchdown to KD Gibson, great play right there, long run by Quay
In
Middlebrooks.
stride.
Yeah, in stride.
That was beautiful.
Quay Middlebrooks, good long run for a touchdown. We missed on an opportunity with a pick 6 right before halftime. Ryan swears we didn't step out of bounds. I don't know. I couldn't tell, but being up, if you're up 21-0 right there, their game's probably out of hand.
It is,
and they probably lay down second half, but it didn't happen for us. Okay, so Grenada did a great job adjusting, finding something at halftime that worked. They changed their run block scheme, and we never adjusted until they scored. And we finally adjusted and fixed that, and we started playing really good defense. They were hot as a firecracker on defense, getting after us, and we're both stalemating each other. And then the play on the interception by Zach Pratt, but you got to throw out the tip ball by Dylan Ruth.
Yes.
That interception don't happen if Dylan Ruth don't tip that football up in the air. He makes a heck of a play.
Great coverage.
Yes, great coverage, deep fade ball. He tips it up. Zach returns it for 60, 70 yards, put us in good field position, gives us great momentum. Well, we, our offense sees an opportunity. We call a heck of a play, and we finish the drive to go up, basically 2 scores, and it was it. I think you can kind of see them deflate. I think there was only about 2 or 3 minutes left in the game at that time, and then we put them in a situation where they're not comfortable with Grenada, and they had to throw the ball, and we felt good. Our DBs on anybody.
They probably threw the ball against us more than they had the first 4 games combined all year.
Right. They kind of had to, because we were having success with stopping their run, and so they had to go to the pass game.
You talked about their defense. They were really active on defense. They reminded me a lot of us. They're everywhere. They reacted to the ball well, and they really made things difficult for us up front.
Yeah, they were athletic as all get out. Their D-line was athletic. Their linebackers, they could cover sideline and sideline to space. Their DBs did a good job keeping everything in front of them. And I knew they would. We knew it was going to be a tough battle. What I was impressed with their coaches is they let their guys kind of just stay back and play.
Their safety played way back.
But they were good job getting to the ball. We probably forced some things again, and we had some, and we did. And you can say too. Offense had some big plays that got called back for penalties.
Yeah.
Some you can say, yeah, that's a hole, and some you can say, okay. Play the next play, but some kind of scratch your head. But that's football sometimes. Sometimes you get home cooking in another place. Sometimes things don't go our way. We call that the wave mentality. What some folks don't like us. What are we going to do about it?
Right.
And so we. But their defense did a great job schematically, and I knew they would.
This week, I think it's safe to say this is the best team we face all year long in Oxford.
By far, they're a team not going to beat themselves. You can't bank. If we bank on them making a mistake, we can't do that. They'll never do that. One of the best coach teams in the state of Mississippi. I have tons and tons of respect for Coach Cutcliffe and his staff. I feel like I kind of can call him a pretty close coaching friend. And he does a fantastic job with his program. He kind of runs it like how his father ran his programs in college. It starts with what they do offensively. They're going to be the fastest team that snaps the ball you'll see Friday night. It's going to kind of blow your mind. They can get a ball off in 8 seconds.
Wow.
So they're tackled. When their players are tackled, they put the ball on the ground. The next play's ran in 8 seconds.
Wow.
8 seconds. I mean, I'm not lying. And so starts with the running back. The running back's the best player we've seen on film this season.
One of the best in the state.
He's one of the best in the state. He's the best player we've seen. And so we got to stop him. Stop him. It's all going to be about stopping him and not giving up the big play, deep ball. Getting lulled to sleep right there, getting a big play, deep ball. And they've got a quarterback, he's committed to the University of Utah, Division I player, that he can make every throw. He can throw it in the bucket anywhere. So they're legit on offense. They scored 43 points 3 games in a row. And defense, we didn't have success the last 2 seasons running the ball on them. They're very sound in what they do. They do a good job with the 3-5 stack, 3-3 stack, and we know they're going to come over here and be well prepared for this moment. They've been in this moment before. It's been on the road several times. But obviously I think teams play a little bit different on the road than they do at home. So I feel good about that.
You've talked about disciplined football before. Is this a game where assignment discipline is absolutely the key?
Absolutely. If we don't fit our gaps on defense, if we don't fit every gap like we're supposed to, that running back is gone. He's gone for a touchdown. If we don't cover the right, if we don't have right eye discipline in the secondary and make the right checks with certain formation, they'll have a touchdown over the top. Offensively, if we don't make the right blocking scheme, there's going to be a guy coming through to make a tackle. And we've got to alter how we do things, maybe in the pass game a little bit, and change up some landmarks. And if we don't stay true to that, guys might not be open. So I do feel good about our matchup, player-to-player matchup wise. And our guys, I think they understand what this game is compared to last year's group, and I think they're hungrier. So, we just stick to the plan. Have no distractions and play. Not get too high, not get too low in this game. That's the biggest thing I think this week is don't get too high, don't get too low. And because they're gonna make some plays, we're gonna make some plays. Right. And what are you gonna do when adversity hits?
Health-wise, how are we?
We're good. We're, still Dooley should be out this week. We'll see. He's progressing back to where we are, but everybody else on the team is full go.
Awesome.
Right now.
That's huge. This is a 7:30 game, the last of the 7:30 games. I feel like this is, we probably could have ended this about 2 weeks ago, but it is what it is. Again, it is Oxford, 7:30 at home, and it's community tailgate. That starts at 5. And Coach, before we close the show, really we've got, in the next 2 weeks, our 2 biggest rivals. Our newest rival is Oxford. Starkville has been the historic rival for years and years and years. And when people think of Starkville and Tuplo, that's what they think of the rival. So for you, what are some of the big rival games that you enjoyed growing up as a kid, and now what are some matchups that are rivalries that you look forward to?
There's all growing up, obviously being born and raised in Houston. Some of those Houston Amory games back in the day were huge for me. I grew up a manager. I grew up in a high school, running the hallways. So public education was my life. My mom was the bookkeeper at the school, so I was engraved into football growing up, watching it. And so some of the old Houston Amory games back in the day, obviously I'm going to think local too. Cone City Vardaman back in the day was huge. Shannon Amory was huge back in the day. But kind of growing up, it's kind of changed generations. It's just like how Tuplo and Oxford is now. It used to always be Tupelo, Starkville. When I was in high school, in my first few years of coaching, it turned into Houston Cone City being a rival. But they're
they are very close.
They are very close, but they're like I said, it changes. But there's so many old rivals out there, so many generational ones. There's so many to go out there and name. What are some ones that pop off to you?
when I first moved to Tupelo, it was Shannon Amory.
Shannon Amory,
was,
right.
Was the big one. Baldwin, Boone.
Baldwin, Boonville.
But I got to cover a couple of those Shannon Amory games when I was at the Journal, and those, I mean.
Here's some random ones. When the Choctaw County, Webster County stuff, your poor East Webster ones, your Choctaw County, your Ackerman versus East Webster, your poor were big ones. There's so many to name. You know, some of them are underrated, some of them are kind of overrated. And like you said, like Amory Shannon's not a rivalry anymore.
Right.
You know, Houston Amory's kind of not a rivalry anymore. So they change generationally. I think it kind of goes back. The way division play goes, and also who's the hot hand.
Right.
You know, the old saying, Bobby Hall used to say it, other coaches, you know, you can't consider somebody a rivalry if you whoop them like that. You know, I mean, so some of those are, you know, they're different ones.
Well, it is a rivalry Friday night.
Absolutely.
And the next week, I mean, we got 3 huge games. Well, we got 5 huge games coming up. 3 really that are rivalries for various reasons. Well, Coach, good luck this weekend. Congrats on the great start. Nothing like 6-0 if we can get there. So we need you Friday night in the stands for that extra support. For Coach Ty Hart, I'm Greg Ellis. This is Gridiron Tailgate.